Hi, everyone. Thanks again for joining us for an episode of the Daily BizLink featuring Jane Cebrynski. And today we are covering the topic of emotional intelligence. Jane, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Lindsay. Of course, emotional intelligence is a very big and broad topic, but we'll just hit on a little bit of it today. And before we do, though, give me a 10 moment. I love the smile on your face this morning.
Well, I was thinking about one of our last conversations focused on joy breaks. And this week I did prioritize the importance of taking some joy breaks. So this may not sound joyful for some people, but it was for me. I had a home improvement project that I was working on where I was painting something, and it was actually very therapeutic to paint this project and to have it completed and checked off my list. So that was my personal 10 moment of the week.
Beautiful dopamine hit when you can check something off the list and doing something that makes you happy, incorporating that into your day. Just real quickly on that, it's so counterintuitive to the way we think. And I was just reading an article, in fact, the other day that said, take breaks throughout your day makes you more productive. And joy breaks are really designed to be very intentional and planned, so that you don't have to spend a lot of energy thinking about what you're going to do, but you get it in there and it helps to make you more productive throughout the course of the day. So go girl. Beautiful.
Well, let's dive into today's conversation on emotional intelligence. I'm personally really excited about this one.
Well, thank you. I have been spending a lot of time over the last couple of weeks really diving deep into the topic of emotional intelligence. And it's showing up a lot in coaching. And so it's interesting because the World Forum Job Report was saying that in 2020, one of the top 10 job skills is supposed to be around emotional intelligence. And of course, there's so many books written on it and there's a lot of talk about it, but what does it really mean? And one of the fundamentals of our coaching, of course, with respect to emotional intelligence, starts with me. We call it MeQ. So it's that emotional intelligence of myself first. And, the 4 domains of emotional intelligence are first that self-awareness, being aware of the different emotions that are showing up for us and when they're showing up. And then what do we do about it? Where's the self-management of the emotions? And then it's a matter of social awareness, being aware of the emotions around you, of the other people that you're interacting with. And of course, we're seeing a lot of emotions playing out in the media right now, lots and lots. And then how do you manage those relationships? So how do you respond and react when you're engaged in an emotional conversation, an emotional debate? So it's really fascinating.
Yeah, I think now more than ever, we've spent more alone time, which has given us the time and the ability to think a little bit more and be more self-aware. So I know I can personally relate to that. So it's fascinating that you bring this up. And, I guess it's good to know that I'm not alone, that a lot of people are, talking about this or seeing this in the sense that it's being brought up in your coaching sessions. So what's the tip of the week, Jane? What should we be focused on as it relates to this?
Well, we've got a couple of tools that I think have come in really handy and are really valuable. What's important is that from an emotional management standpoint, it doesn't mean that we disregard our emotions. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Oftentimes what we do is we suppress any emotions that don't feel good or are uncomfortable. And maybe even as children, we were told, stop crying or, don't get mad. And actually, we know today that just allowing ourselves to feel the emotions, feel the feelings is really important, because if you just continue to suppress it, it will eventually show up. And we're seeing that a lot in society right now, just a lot of repressed emotions starting to show up. So number one, when you become aware of it, just acknowledge it and you don't have to really do anything about it. But I think especially when it comes to being aware for other people, I think one of our greatest tools is I don't know their story. And the I don't know their story tool is literally that. When you find yourself getting frustrated or you find yourself getting worked up over somebody else, anchoring in, okay, I don't know their story. I don't know the story about why they're constantly late. I don't know the story about why they're not returning my phone call. And what it does, and what I think is very powerful about it is, again, it's just designed to help you manage your emotions, help you kind of get in check with yourself. And that's the thing. Once you become aware, it's what are the skills that you're practicing in order to manage those emotions? And then what skills are you practicing around communicating so that you can manage the relationships that you have around emotions? Thoughts? You've used that tool. We've talked about that tool quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great one. Just, doing that self check-in and, repeating that over to yourself, like, I don't know their story. I think that does go a long way. And I think it does help with energy management as a whole.
Well, and I think right now, especially because we don't know what is happening in everybody's home. And, when you think about your teams working remotely, like we don't know all the chaos or anxiety or, challenges that people might be facing at home. And so it's really easy to judge, someone's productivity or question it because we're not seeing them in the office. We're not day to day. And the thing is if you just anchor in, okay, I don't know their story. And then you can ask some questions out of curiosity to learn their story. Because the more we know about people and the more we understand their story, the more we are developing those relationships. And again, it's for energy management, it's for emotional management. My favorite tool is really basically the truth tool. And we've talked about this, where when you find yourself really worked up over a situation, just anchoring in the facts. We call it, like, if you think about it like an iceberg, the facts of the story sit on the top and all the emotions and all the juice, if you will, is underneath. And if we can literally just anchor in, and I will have clients write down the facts of the situation, and we'll keep writing until we've eliminated all the emotion around it, and it simplifies it. You're nodding your head because I know we've done this work before too. And have you found it to be very effective and powerful?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm excited that you actually shared that one with everyone. So great.
That's my power tool. I think it's a power tool.
So I think there's a lot for individuals to think about over the course of the week. So is there anything specific that you would like to leave our listeners with for the week?
Yeah, I think, again, from an emotional intelligence standpoint and emotional management standpoint, hurt people is still a really, really important tool right now, because there's still a lot of emotions happening, and there's a lot of things happening in the media that are driving conversations and thoughts and feelings. And then that truth, just anchor in the facts and recognize that a lot of the juice is sitting underneath the surface, and it takes up a ton of energy. And we want to save that energy to really be able to perform at our best, both at home and at work.
Jane, thanks again for joining us for this week's conversation on emotional intelligence.
Thank you, Lindsay. Have an awesome day today.